You know, we're always trying to figure out what makes a school truly great. Is it the money, the fancy tech, smaller class sizes? Well, what if I told you the research points to something way more powerful, something that can actually outweigh a student's home environment? And it all starts with a simple, powerful idea: belief.
So let me ask you, what do you think is the single strongest predictor of how well students will do in school? A lot of us, myself included, would probably guess something like the family's income or a student's background. And look, those things definitely matter, but they are not the most powerful predictor. Not even close.
The answer, and this is pretty mind-blowing, is the shared belief among the entire staff that they as a team can make a real difference for their students. It's not about one superstar teacher working miracles in their classroom. It's about a collective confidence that permeates the entire building.
So this powerful concept actually has a name. It's called collective teacher efficacy, or you'll often see it called CTE. Let's dive in and really break down what that means.
Okay, here it is in a nutshell. Collective teacher efficacy is that shared belief among teachers that they have the ability to positively influence student outcomes. Now, the key words here are 1, shared belief. This isn't an individual thing, it's a group thing. And 2, positively influence. It's this deep-seated conviction that they are the agents of change, not just victims of circumstance.
And get this. Researchers Donahue, Hattie, and Eels found that CTE is a more powerful predictor of student achievement than a student's socioeconomic status. Just pause and think about that for a second. That is a massive, game-changing claim. It means what happens inside the school, the beliefs and actions of the adults, can be more powerful than the challenges students face outside the school. Wow.
Okay, so if we know this shared belief is the secret sauce, the next obvious question is, how do you get it? Right? It doesn't just magically appear. You have to build it, brick by brick.
So how do you build that belief? Well, the research is crystal clear on this. The main way to build collective teacher efficacy is through a very specific kind of collaboration.
The best way to think about it is like this. If CTE is the car that gets you to student success, then collaboration is the engine that actually makes the car go. It's the whole mechanism. But, and this is a huge but, not just any kind of teamwork will do.
There's a huge difference between just cooperating and truly collaborating. Cooperation, that's the basics. Sharing lesson plans, figuring out who's taking the kids on the field trip. That's fine. But what builds efficacy is deliberate collaboration. That's when teachers are digging into student work together, co-planning lessons based on actual evidence, and taking shared ownership for the results, good or bad. In this deeper collaboration, it isn't random. It follows a predictable cycle. Teacher teams start by planning, getting crystal clear on what they want students to learn. Then they act, they go teach. Then, and this is the most important part, they come back together to assess. They look at the evidence. Did it work? What does the student work tell us? And finally, they reflect and figure out how to adjust their teaching. It's a constant loop of getting better together.
But you can't just tell teachers to collaborate and hope for the best. You have to create the right environment for it to actually work. And it turns out there are 7 essential conditions for success.
As you can see here, it takes a lot to get this right. You absolutely need supportive leaders who protect this collaborative time. You need deep trust and respect so teachers can have honest conversations, even when they're tough. You need shared goals, dedicated time, and structures. But I want to point out one that's absolutely crucial: evidence of student impact. Teachers have to see that their work together is making a difference. That success is the fuel. It proves their belief is justified and makes them want to do it more.
So you might be thinking, wow, that is a lot to try and build from the ground up. It raises a great question. Is there a blueprint out there? Is there a framework a school could adopt that already has these conditions built into its DNA? And it turns out there is. A great example of this is the International Baccalaureate, or IB, framework. It offers a really fascinating look at how you can structurally build a school culture that's just wired for collaboration and efficacy.
Now, check out this data. The research shows that the different IB programs have different levels of impact on CTE. The primary years program, or PYP, and the middle years program, or MYP, have a really high effect. And why is that? Well, because collaboration isn't just encouraged, it's required. It's baked right into the system. Teachers have to co-plan and work across disciplines. It's just how things are done.
So what about the diploma program, the DP? Why is its effect often a bit lower?
Well, in a lot of schools, the DP is for a small, specific group of students. And when that happens, it can create a silo, a kind of school within a school, where only a handful of teachers are involved, and that collaborative culture doesn't spread.
But, and this is a really cool twist, what if a school runs the DP differently? What if, as you see here, only a small number of students do the full diploma, but almost everybody takes at least 1 or 2 DP courses? All of a sudden, you've got way more teachers involved. You have teachers from all different departments participating in things like assessment moderation, which is a fancy term for getting together and scoring student work using the same standards. That right there is powerful, evidence-based collaboration.
And this brings us to what might be the most important point of all. The framework itself isn't a magic wand. A school can just go through the motions, checking all the IB boxes, and create what you'd call a compliance culture. The real power, the magic, happens when a school embraces the spirit of the framework, when they build an efficacy culture, where deep collaboration isn't a task to be completed, it's just the way we do things around here.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's zoom out and pull this all together. What is the one big idea you should walk away with? Here's the story in 4 parts. 1. A staff's shared belief in their impact is one of the biggest drivers of student achievement out there. 2. You build that belief through deliberate, evidence-based collaboration. 3. That collaboration can only thrive if you have the right conditions in place, like trust and leadership support. And 4. Proven frameworks like the IB can give schools a powerful structure to make all of this a reality, but only if they truly commit to the culture behind it.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. Think about your own school, or the schools in your community. Are their schedules, their meetings, their entire culture, are they designed just to manage the day-to-day work of teaching? Or are they intentionally designed to build belief? Because the answer to that question, well, that could change everything. Thanks for joining me.